Welcome to Weedsday Wednesday, Tucson, Arizona's #1 online radio podcast about all things medical cannabis. Your host, Belle
and the Cannabis Kid. Our show features news, interviews, and all the latest information about anything and everything medical cannabis related in Tucson, Arizona, and the world at large.
We'd love to hear from you. Please give us a call live at 646-915-8421. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on all social media, or email thctucson@gmail.com.
We'd like to thank Tumbleweeds Health Center and Studio C, along with our many sponsors, for hosting our show every week. With the lowest price certifications in town, you'll find hemp products, accessories, and all things related to medical cannabis education.
Visit Tumbleweeds Health Center at 4826 East Broadway Boulevard or online at tumbleweedshealthcenter.com. And remember,
Be smart,
be safe,
and educate.
Woo! There we go. All right. Welcome to Weedsday Wednesday, everybody. We are here. We are live. We started the show a few seconds early. Sorry about that. I got a little excited. But I bet you're wondering, I know you're wondering, how many days until Christmas? 239 days until Christmas, 240 days until it's over. Welcome back, Open Hour. Hello, Silver Sister and Cannabis Kid. Are you there? Can you hear me now? How's it going, kids? Woo-hoo. All right. Another Weedsday Wednesday. What is going on? I can't even believe it. Last day of April. Man, that is just crazy. All right. See if we can stop this. Oh boy.
If you suffer from one of these medical conditions and have been
never going to
diagnosed
end.
by an Arizona licensed physician, medical cannabis may help relieve your symptoms.
That's right.
Tumbleweeds Health Center is Arizona's premier cannabis certification, health, and education center. Our Tumbleweeds Health Center to see if you qualify for your Arizona medical marijuana card.
Are chronic conditions holding you back from a happy, healthy life? Get on the right track with Tumbleweeds Health Center, our CBD lifestyle. I don't worry about sleeping anymore. Tumbleweeds Health Center, voted #1 health center in Tucson, has created a proprietary number of CBD blends, each designed to promote health and well-being. Let Tumbleweeds Health Center show you how CBD products might help you improve your life the natural way.
That's right. Give us a call, 520-838-4430. We have moved. We are over at 6224 East Speedway Boulevard. And since we did everything backwards, I can go ahead and just give a shout out to Tumbleweeds Health Center. Woo woo! Call us, come see us, email us, telemed us. We do telemedicine. And here are the certification. Here's the list of ailments that you can get certified for in the great state of Arizona. You don't have to be in town here in Tucson. You can be anywhere you want, in your car, in your hot air balloon, under the water. You know, I'm sure they make a device now that you can just gurgle up some sounds. All right. But if you have one of these conditions and you want to get certified in the great state of Arizona, just call us, email us, come see us, or telemed us. There's a telemedicine section on the website at tumbleweedshealthcenter.com, and check out, just go ahead and fill out the form and we'll get to you. Be patient, folks. It's technology. It's not perfect. So hang in there with us. All right. If you have PTSD, cancer, glaucoma, AIDS, chronic pain, which covers a whole host of things, fibromyalgia, migraines, cramps, leg cramps, disc disease, or all of the arthritises, anything like that, any pain. It just has to be chronic according to the state. That is only 60 days. Severe nausea, seizures, including epilepsy, HIV, Hep C, ALS, Crohn's disease, agitation of Alzheimer's, dementia, cachexia or wasting syndrome, severe and persistent muscle spasms, and including multiple sclerosis. If you have any one of those, you can get your medical cannabis card. If you did not hear your condition on the list, don't worry, because if you're being treated for something that's causing something on this list, let's say you have maybe Tourette's or autism, Asperger's, because they cause all these things on the list. Any sort of seizures, any sort of spasms, Parkinson's, things like that. They cause the treatments and the conditions cause a lot of the things that the state of Arizona will let you get your card for. So just give us a call and we'll help you get that figured out. You know what I figured out? I figured out that if I just type in marijuana news or cannabis news or weed news or hemp news, I can get a lot more updated news than what is on on the websites that I'm picking from. So let's do that. Let's just go and take a look at some of these news queries, and let's see what's going on in the world of weed. All right. And if I was going to say, if you want to call in, dang it. Oh, I missed those days. I'm going to have to find a number that you can call or something that you can do if you want to call in and make a comment. But you can always comment right there in the little blog. Yes, underwater chalkboard training. We do it. Underwater chalkboard training. You can just, I don't think it takes much to log in. And now it's interesting. It says we don't have anybody on, but we do. These programs are so weird. All right. But you can log in, blog in, chat with us, ask your questions, and waiting for responses back from some folks that have reached out to come on the show. Always trying to find what the best Wednesday is for everybody, because we go live, even though you can't see us, you can hear us. And that's what we do now. All right. So let's see what is going on in weed news. Uh-oh. Woo! This is over $2.7 million worth of cannabis was seized from a warehouse near Angels Stadium. Let's see what's going on with that. Wow. Ooh. 5 people were arrested and millions of dollars worth of illegal cannabis was found at an Orange County warehouse near Angels Stadium, officials announced yesterday. Law enforcement officers busted the unlicensed cannabis operation on April 16th, which, according to the Department of Cannabis Control, the DCC, was linked to organized crime and posed significant risk to public safety. While details on the raid itself remain limited, DCC said that officers seized over $2.7 million worth of weed from the illegal indoor cultivation and manufacturing service. Woo, they meant serious business. This includes 1,788 pounds of cannabis. That's right, pounds. 413 pounds of flower. 1,788 pounds of plants. 413 pounds of flour, 98.76 pounds of concentrate. Officials did not immediately identify the 5 suspects arrested during the raid, which happened just a few hundred yards from the baseball stadium. Anaheim police assisted in this operation. Quote, thanks to the diligent work of our officers and partner agencies, this extensive operation has been shut down, a statement from Nicole Elliott, DCC director, read in part. Anaheim Police Department stepped up to the plate for this operation, and we value their partnership in protecting the public and reducing the size of the illicit market. For community safety, officials also noted that they red tagged the site and disconnected the electricity. Well, that's an important thing to do. Disconnect the electricity. Well, there you have it. The illicit market, I think, will probably always be around. Oh, really? Can I? I can make a Google Voice number and give that out instead of your personal phone number. Hey, that's a good idea. Thank you for that. Woo-woo. See, that's why I like these brainiacs out here for coming up with new and groovy ideas so that we can have call-ins, because that's fun to get just random strangers calling in about weed. I'm going to close this door a little bit here, the front door anyway, because kitties have the back door they can go through. But right, so prone to allergies. Yeah, even the odd prank call. Absolutely, we've had those. We've had odd prank calls, that's for sure, and those are even fun once in a while. You betcha. All right, let's see what else is going on in the world of weed. Marijuana news. Let's see what happened. What's happening in marijuana news 2 hours ago. Marijuana Nation. Oh, this is different because let's see. When I typed in weed news, just a ton of stories came up. So let's keep going with weed news. All right. What? Here's an interesting one. This was from yesterday. Let's see. High cannabis use associated with increased colon cancer mortality. I don't know that I believe this. This is coming from Medical Life Sciences. This is take this all with a grain of weed. Researchers at the University of California, San Diego School of Medicine have found that individuals with colon cancer and a documented history of high cannabis use were more than 20 times more likely to die within 5 years of diagnosis compared to those without such a history. I don't know. This study adds to a growing body of evidence suggesting that heavy cannabis use may have under-recognized impacts on the immune system, mental health, and treatment behaviors, all of which could influence cancer outcomes. And this comes from Rafael Cuomo, PhD, lead author, associate professor, Department of Anesthesiology, UC San Diego School of Medicine. All right. So again, this is not something that I've ever heard before. I don't even know if I believe it, because we know that cannabis helps cure cancers. The research team drew on electronic health records from more than 1,000 colon cancer patients treated across the University of California health system between 2012 and 2024. They evaluated how cancer outcomes differed based on patients' documented cannabis use before diagnosis, controlling for age, sex, and indicators of disease severity such as tumor staging and cancer biomarkers. The analysis found patients with a history of cannabis use disorder, CUD, had a substantially higher 5-year mortality rate compared to patients without CUD. So the mortality rate was 55.8% if you had been using cannabis and 5.05% without. I don't know. Patients diagnosed with CUD, cannabis use disorder, and how can you call it a disorder? Give me a break, you're using a plant. Prior to cancer diagnosis were 24.4 times more likely to die within 5 years of diagnosis compared to those without CUD. Now, I know if there are any cannabis experts listening to this article right now, you're just flipping. So chime in, blog with us, chat with us. While some laboratory studies have shown anti-tumor effects from certain cannabis compounds, the authors note that real-world use is more complex. Given the increasing prevalence and social acceptance of cannabis use, they also emphasize the need to further investigate its long-term effects in medically vulnerable populations. Well, duh. Quote, high cannabis use is often associated with depression, anxiety, and other challenges that may compromise the patient's ability to engage fully with cancer treatment. Oh, there it is, folks. You heard it here first. Said Cuomo, who was also a member of UC San Diego Moores Cancer Center. However, this isn't about vilifying cannabis. It's about understanding the full range of its impact, especially for people facing serious illness. We hope these findings encourage more research, and they will, and more nuanced conversations that they will about how cannabis interacts with cancer biology and care. The study was published online in the Annals of Epidemiology. No funding or conflicts of interest were reported for this study. Oh, really? The conflict comes with the news you just reported. Okay. All right. Well, Nebraska lawmakers are holding a public forum on medical marijuana. So let's just see. Let's see what's going on with that. Nebraska. Cookies. Sure, I'll have a cookie. Let's see. 3 meetings scheduled, 2 in Omaha, 1 in Lincoln. Omaha, Nebraska. WOWT. After already showing overwhelming support for medical marijuana, Nebraska voters will now have a chance to speak face-to-face with state lawmakers about the issue. 3 Nebraska state senators, Rick Holdcroft, John Cavanaugh, and Ben Hansen of Blair, will hold 3 public meetings in the coming days to discuss the implementation of medical marijuana in Nebraska. The announcement comes less than 2 weeks after LB 677, Hansen's bill to officially legalize and regulate medical cannabis in Nebraska, failed to make it out of the General Affairs Committee. Holdcroft and Cavanaugh serve as chair and vice chair of this committee. Last week, Hansen filed a motion to pull the bill out of the committee where it stalled so the full legislature can debate it. When and where? Well, if you're in Nebraska, the public forums will allow Nebraskans to receive updates on medical marijuana legislation and express their opinions on the matter. Everyone's welcome to speak, but meetings are limited to 2 hours. Well, that's a good long time for you guys to get in there and chat about what you think about medical marijuana. All right, May 3rd from 1 to 3 p.m., it will be at Carpenter's Union Hall, and that's at 10761 Virginia Plaza in La Vista. On Sunday, May 4th, it's 1 to 3 p.m. at Uno Thompson Center at 6705 Dodge Street in Omaha. And on Monday, May 5th, it's going to be from 5 to 7 p.m. for those that are getting off work there. Southeast Community College at 8800 O Street in Lincoln. Even after 70% of voters cast their ballots in favor of the measure during November's general election, the legalization and subsequent regulation of medical marijuana has faced pushback from some of Nebraska's highest-ranking elected officials, including Governor Jim Pillen, U.S. Senator Pete Ricketts, and Attorney General Mike Hilgers. 12 other state lawmakers will participate in the forums. Michaela Cavanaugh, John Frederickson, Margot Juarez, Megan Hunt, and Ashley Spivey of Omaha. Victor Roundtree, Merv Ripe, and Wendy DeBauer of Bennington. George Dungan, Jane Raybould, and of Lincoln, Myron Dorn of Adams, and Tom Brandt of Plymouth. And you can get a first alert delivered to your inbox if you sign up for 6 email alerts. All right, Nebraska, get on out there and talk with your folks, talk with your peeps about what's going on. And let's get some support out there for Nebraska and get some medical marijuana. Get any marijuana out there. Just do it. Just get it. All right. Okay. Here's what's happening in Arizona cannabis news. Let me get a little sip of something here. A little half calf for my morning rise. Let's see here. Oh, that was well, data shows adult use cannabis legalization aligns with the drop in teen use. There you go. And they show a teenager smoking. Well, I don't know. He's probably not a teenager. He looks like he could be like 25 or 30. A new report compiled by the Marijuana Policy Project demonstrates that legalizing and regulating cannabis for adults has not led to increased cannabis use among youth. In fact, Data that was recently released shows decreases in youth cannabis use in 19 of the 21 states with before and after data. The full report can be available if you go on azmarijuana.com. Quote, over a decade into state-level cannabis legalization, the data is unequivocal. Legalization does not increase youth cannabis use. In fact, evidence suggests the opposite. By transitioning cannabis sales from the illicit market to a regulated system with age-restricted access, we've seen a decrease in youth cannabis use, said Karen O'Keefe, Director of State Policies at the Marijuana Policy Project. Nationwide, both the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the Monitoring the Future Survey indicate significant drops in youth marijuana use between 2011 and 2023-2024, while half of the country legalized and regulated cannabis for adults. These findings challenge the notion that adult use cannabis legalization is a gateway to increased youth use. In the two states with the oldest legalization laws, Washington and Colorado, adolescent cannabis use has decreased by over 35% since cannabis was legalized and regulated for adults 21 and older. In Colorado in 2011, the year prior to legalization, 22% of high schoolers reported using cannabis in the past 30 days. That figure has dropped by 42% to 12.8% in 2023, according to data from the Colorado Healthy Kids Survey. Meanwhile, the Washington State Healthy Youth Survey shows substantial decreases in the percent of students reporting current marijuana in all three surveyed states. The 2010 survey found 26.3% of 12th graders use marijuana in the past 30 days. That has decreased by 38% to 16.3% in 2023. Among the 10th graders, current marijuana use dropped by 58% since legalization, from 20% in 2010 to 8% in 2023. Among 8th graders, the survey shows a 61% drop past 30-day use of marijuana, from 9.5% to just 3.7%. Wow. That's a lot of droppage. I wonder why. Anybody have any ideas as to why it's dropping? I mean, has the novelty just gone out? Nerds. Yeah, are people just, I mean, are teens just like, been there, done that? Or are they using vapes now? Or has edibles increased with them? What's going on? I know right here in our very own state of Arizona, the dispensaries are trying to get all the hemp shops to stop selling anything that can get you high, like the Delta 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all the Deltas, anything synthetically derived from CBD. And basically, they're just being selfish. Yes. You guys chose your 25% sales tax, and they're just upset because a lot of the hemp stores are that we don't have to have a 25% sales tax. And with the 2018 Farm Bill, which y'all need to listen to, Judge and Attorney General, you guys made it legal for us to have hemp with 0.3% or less, which it all does, of THC, Delta 9, 0.3%. That's not going to get you high. Now, some people think that just because their pain goes away and they feel better, they're high. Well, whatever you want to call it. Your pain's gone. You're feeling better. Just go with it. Roll with that. I mean, that's the best news of it all. When your symptoms go away, your pain goes away, your cancers go away, your problems go away because you start using hemp or CBD in any nature, or cannabis in any nature. Call it what you want. It's just good. And it's good for you. It's good for your mental health, especially. Because we know having a really good immune system can be triggered by or can correlate with having really good attitudes. And that's something that, it's important to have these days, especially because the world is just a crazy place. We're dealing with all sorts of new government policies that not everybody agrees with, and our economy is not the best it's been, and it's scary times, and we all need to have good positive attitudes, and that will really affect your healing. It really can affect your healing. We have all had experience in one way or another. Well, not all of us, but a lot of us have experienced depression and just the blues overall in general, and that can really play a difference in your health and your healing. So here's another article, and this one's from Cannabis Business Times, who we love. Judge sends Alabama medical cannabis licensing back to square one. What the heck is this about? Circuit Judge James Anderson ruled that the state regulator's emergency rule, we read this, is void. We already, and when is this from? Because we already read this. Yeah, that was from last week. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, they deemed that medical cannabis was not an emergency, or cannabis in general was not an emergency. So, I think it was. And I think a lot of our government thinks it was, even though they won't legalize it or deschedule it or get it off the schedule or reschedule. Because when we were in full-blown COVID mode and we all had to stay inside, all of our cannabis shops and our hemp and CBD stores were considered necessary and essential. So what's up with that, you guys? That's just bizarre. That's just crazy. So let's see what else is going on in the world of weed and hemp and everything else. And if you want to chat with us or blog with us, if you go to tumbleweedshealthcenter.com and you go to the radio section, there's a link to get you to this YouTube channel. And you can't see us, but you can hear us, and that's okay. Let's see what's going on in the rest of the world of weed. Colorado gang members that are responsible for dozens of marijuana burglaries are sentenced. Let's see. The gang members are out there now, huh? Oh, they've got pictures. Woohoo! These are still images from surveillance videos showing separate break-ins and burglaries at Denver stores around the area. Wow. Well, this guy was fully covered, mask. Like he had a ski mask, and then he had a parka, and then he had gloves, and it looks like he's on his phone while he's doing it. What an idiot. All right, let's see what they have to say. 6 leaders of the Denver gang were recently sentenced on organized crime charges connected to dozens of robberies and burglaries, mostly of metro area marijuana dispensaries during the fall of 2023. In all, members of the gang and other criminal group are blamed for 5 armed robberies, 40 burglaries, and 12 attempted burglaries, according to the results of the multi-agency investigation. The 2 groups coordinated to steal more than $750,000 in property and inventory. The thieves used stolen vehicles to reach stores and dispensaries across the Denver metro area. Excuse me. As many as 4 break-ins were conducted in a single night. Cash was often the goal, and ATMs inside the businesses were targeted. Other times, the bandits made off with marijuana or marijuana product. Sometimes they stole both. Investigators took surveillance videos from the various crime scenes and compared those to the recorded locations of the defendants' cell phones. See? You idiots. The similarities placed it says the similarities placed those men's phones in the area of the robberies and burglaries at the time they occurred. The defendants also weren't shy about flashing the money and drugs they stole on their social media. Oh my Lord. More than once, investigators found the suspects wearing the same clothing and shoes in many of the social posts, which were worn by the burglary suspects on the surveillance video. Oh my Lord. What a bunch of... Okay, you guys are not smart. A grand jury indictment in December of that year resulted in the arrest of 23 young men. 14 of those arrested may have now been prosecuted. 2 others are still in the process. Corey Anderson was the latest to learn his fate. He received a 25-year prison sentence earlier this month on 1 count each of burglary, aggravated robbery, and violating the Colorado Organized Crime Control Act, the COCCA. The COCCA statute is aimed at criminal organizations accused of racketeering or taking criminal action. I don't know what happened to the article, in pursuit of profits. Today's sentencing, Mark McCallick, special agent in charge of the FBI's Denver field office, stated in a press release, marks a major victory. Oh, there are dogs at the gate looking for treats. Sorry, guys. Marks a major victory for public safety, ending a months-long investigation into the Bloods street gang responsible for dozens of violent crimes. Thanks to the coordinated efforts of the FBI's Violent Criminal Enterprise Task Force and the Denver District Attorney's Office, 14 gang members and associates have been taken off the streets and held accountable for more than 326 felony offenses. Whoa. They're showing mugshots. This guy looks just so high. 4 other members of Anderson's gang received probation or deferred sentences. One defendant from the other group, Christopher Navarez, received a 12-year prison term on a single COCCA count. 3 members of his group received deferred sentences on lesser burglary and theft felony counts. 2 other men from the non-gang affiliated group, Charis Lofton and Javier Gerardo, have yet to resolve their cases. Each is charged with COCCA violations, among dozens of other charges. Quote, let these lengthy sentences serve as a warning to anyone involved in criminal enterprises that they, too, could spend decades in prison for their actions. Denver police chief stated after Anderson's sentencing, this case and those of Anderson's co-defendants demonstrate that law enforcement agencies throughout the Denver metro area are committed to working together to the Criminal Enterprise Task Force, the VCETF, and spearheaded the prosecution. The Douglas County Sheriff's Office, Aurora Police Department, and the Regional Anti-Violence Enforcement Network, RAVEN, also contributed to the investigation. The crimes? Well, on 6/5 of 23, Kea Cannabis, located at 12018 West Jewel Avenue, they had $49,332 in merchandise stolen. On 6/8 of 2020, $1,000 in damage to the business and another $45,520 of merchandise taken. And 6/12 of 23, Stadium Gardens had $20,000 in damage and $40,000 in merchandise stolen. And Ascend to Ascend, there was an unsuccessful break-in. Golden Meds, they lost about $5,000 in damage and $3,063 in merchandise. Ahoya lost $7,400 in merchandise. There was an armed carjacking on 6/16 of 23. The Trenchtown Dispensary, there was an undetermined loss. And Colorado's Best Meds had $10,000 in damage, $50,000 in cash, and $42,555 in inventory taken. And on 6/21, there's another carjacking on the ramp to SBI 25. Be careful, that's why you lock your damn doors. Social Cannabis, there was an unsuccessful break-in attempt. Ascend Cannabis, another unsuccessful attempt. Pig and Whistle Dispensary, there was $7,500 in damage and $2,751 in products stolen. Rocky Mountain Dispensary had $9,900 in damage and $22,271 of stolen merchandise. Spark Dispensary, there was an unsuccessful attempt on, wow, there are a lot of attempts here. You know what? Well, we're not going to read all these attempts because there were just too many. And I mean, I just scrolled and scrolled and scrolled and scrolled. And that was a lot of attempts and a lot of money and a lot of break-ins and a lot of damage. And you know what else we have a lot of? our very favorite song ever.
Walk into my house like, what up? I got some good pop. I'm just phone. Got some herb from the pop shop. Ice in the fridge. It used to be frosty. My friends like, damn, that's so nasty. Rolling in hella hot, looking like it's the time. Dominating all my friends as I eat some chili fries. Draped in the smuggy with my girl sitting next to me. Probably should have had a big gulp full of ice. But shit, it was 99 cents. I'll be blazing and smoking, about to go and get some munchies. Next, passing up on those cracker jacks, 3 pieces of Raritz. I gotta get me some soda. My cotton mouth has been creeping up, but can't remember where I put these. Yeah, that's what's up. I'ma take you ride. I'ma take you grandpa's ride. No, for real. Ask me grandpa, can I take a 65? The bill cruising to my local Publix. Nothing better than rolling with 2 super projects. They have frozen burritos. I bought frozen burritos. I bought some Ben & Jerry's, and then I bought some Cheetos. Hello, my main man Obama. A couple states have just reformed their laws on marijuana. What you gonna do? Send the feds there? Hell no. The DPAs will be like, oh, they got volcanoes.
I'm gonna smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm a hunting, looking for a watch out. This is fucking awesome. I'm gonna smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm a hunting, looking for a watch out. This is fucking awesome.
What you know about the science of marijuana? What you know about people suffering from coma? They need it, they need it, it helps them with their condition. If you don't believe me, then just ask some eye physicians. Thank your granddad for voting for that guy. Richard Nixon is the president who made the plant illegal. But science is now showing that it's medicine for people, and the private sector's fighting to keep all of that illegal. Alcohol and tobacco, pharmaceutical prisons. I'll take those 4 major lobby groups and fight those motherfuckers. They're making money day and night, all those motherfuckers. And bribing Congress out of sight, all those motherfuckers. They be like, oh, it's immoral and unhealthy. I'm like, how many people are you making wealth? Anti-marijuana lobbies are making all kinds of profits, and they don't want you to stop because of all the special insurance. I call that getting swindled and pimp shit. I call that getting tricked by the government. That law's hella old, so it's time to update it, regulate it, and then get it under state control. Peak game, look into my political telescope. Think it's gonna stay like this forever? Not hella won't. Not hella won't. Hey Obama, stop being a hypocrite. You used to smoke weed, fool.
I'm gonna smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm a hunting, looking for a pot shop. This is fucking awesome. Let's end the war on drugs. It's time to pull the plug. These special interest groups are nothing more than corporate thugs. Let's end the war on weed. The people have agreed. These special interest groups have built these laws with bribery. I'm gonna smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm a hunting, looking for a pot shop. This is fucking awesome.
Alrighty, welcome back to Weedsday Wednesday, everybody. Belle Star here, Cannabis Kid, Silver Sister out in the universe, hanging out, doing their thing. And we've got Open Hour with us as a guest online, and you too can be a guest online if you would like. And we're going to get a Google number. I'm really excited about that. I didn't even know you could do that. I suck at technology, like big time. Oh, if you want to know what you can get your medical cannabis card for in the great state of Arizona, I'm about to tell you. Also, you can check out tumbleweedshealthcenter.com and get on over to the certification section. You can see for yourself what the state of Arizona approves. It's quite a few conditions. And then also, if you're anywhere in the great state and you want us to get your medical marijuana card for you, go ahead and click on the telemedicine section and fill out the form, and we'll get that, and then we'll get you scheduled. It's really simple. But if you are in Arizona and you have one of these conditions, we'll get you certified. And that would be PTSD, cancer, glaucoma, AIDS, chronic pain, which covers everything from migraines, fibromyalgia, scoliosis, kyphosis, all the arthritis problems, all the degenerative disc disease, anything going on in your back, your body, your aches, your pains, menstrual cramps, leg cramps, arm cramp, any kind of cramp. Just has to be chronic, and that's 60 days according to the state of Arizona's health department. And let's see, severe nausea, seizures, including epilepsy, HIV, Hep C, ALS, Crohn's disease, agitation of Alzheimer's, dementia, cachexia, wasting syndrome, severe and persistent muscle spasms, including multiple sclerosis. You're eligible for a medical cannabis card if you suffer from a chronic or debilitating disease or medical condition, or just the treatment. That's right, for a chronic or debilitating disease or medical condition that causes any of the above conditions or more. So if you didn't hear your ailment on the list, don't worry. If you've got, I don't know, anxiety, Alzheimer's, insomnia, Asperger's, Tourette's, Parkinson's, anything, and it's causing something on that list, then we can get you certified. That's for sure.
Are chronic conditions holding you back from a happy, healthy life? Get on the right track with Tumbleweeds Health Center. Our CBD products are formulated to fit your health lifestyle.
I would definitely say that CBD has changed my life. I mean, I don't worry about my dog anymore, and I don't worry about sleeping anymore.
Tumbleweeds Health Center, voted #1 health center in Tucson, has created a proprietary number of CBD blends, each designed to promote health and well-being. Let Tumbleweeds Health Center show you how CBD products might help you improve your life the natural way.
If you suffer from one of these medical conditions and have been diagnosed by an Arizona licensed physician, medical cannabis may help relieve your symptoms. Tumbleweeds Health Center is Arizona's premier cannabis certification, health, and education center. Our primary focus is to help the patients of Arizona obtain their medical marijuana card and educate everyone about medical cannabis. With current medical records, approval is a simple process. Contact Tumbleweeds Health Center to see if you qualify for your Arizona medical marijuana card.
That's right. Give us a call, 520-838-4430. You can even email thctucson@gmail.com. You can come on down to 6224 East Speedway Boulevard. We are inside the Good Leaf, right next to Bookman's and Beyond Bread in the Monterey Shopping Center. So come on down and get certified. And new location we absolutely love. Thank you for asking that, open hour. We've had that for over 3 years now, and we just decided to combine our businesses. Instead of having two places, we just have one now, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's beautiful, other than what the darn dispensary association is trying to do and stop all our sales, which is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, come on, guys, give us a break. You already have enough money. So just do your thing and quit being selfish. They're just selfish. All right, let's see what else is going on in the world of weed. Anything anybody wants to hear about in particular, just ask and we'll do our best to find it. All right, let's see. Okay, White House drug czar could endorse marijuana legalization under new bill to repeal the ludicrous restriction. This was 22 hours ago from Marijuana Moment. Let's see. All right. What do we have here? Democratic congressional lawmakers have announced the filing of a bill that would remove a restriction that prevented the White House drug czar from advocating for the legalization of marijuana or other Schedule I drugs under the Controlled Substances Act, the CSA. At a Last Prisoner Project, LPP, event outside the Capitol on Tuesday, Dina Titus and Ilhan Omar, co-chairs of the Congressional Cannabis Caucus, talked about the group's legislative priorities for marijuana reform. Beyond the bill, that will also include bipartisan legislation to end federal prohibition in legal states and free up the industry to access banking services. Guys, You got to separate these things. Don't throw everything in one bill at once. It's going to get denied. The lawmakers, quote, Evidence-Based Drug Policy Act, quote, would take aim at a federal statute prohibiting the director of the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy, the ONDCP, from promoting reform around Schedule I drugs. The current law states that no funds provided to ONDCP can be used for, quote, any study or contract relating to the legalization for medical use or any other use of a substance listed in Schedule I, quote, further requiring the office's director to take such actions as necessary to oppose attempt to legalize the use of a substance in any form that is in Schedule I and has not been approved for use for medical purposes by the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA. Under the two-page bill, that statutory language included in Section 704B12 of the ONDCP Reauthorization Act would be repealed. Titus said on Tuesday that the legislation would, quote, remove outdated restrictions, which are just ludicrous, quote. They're not allowed to sponsor any research on Schedule I drugs. And they can't even talk about it to show you how ridiculous it is, she said. And by law, they have to actively oppose the legalization of any substance that is Schedule I and not approved by the FDA. We're trying to remove that prohibition. Marijuana legalization is not some out of nowhere kind of issue. This is something that is truly mainstream, Titus said. So if we can get rid of that policy, we can begin to do research on some of the advantages on how marijuana can be used and what are the medical implications. So when they say, oh, we don't know what it'll do, it might be dangerous, you can counter that with good research. Well, we already have good research. Whether the Trump administration's recently appointed drug czar would exercise the authority to advocate for reform under the bill, if enacted, is uncertain. However, ONDCP Director Sarah Carter has previously called medical marijuana a fantastic treatment option for seriously ill patients and said she doesn't have a problem with legalization, even if she might not personally agree with the policy. In a press release, Omar said that, quote, our nation's drug policy have been shaped by stigma, quote. The American people overwhelmingly support cannabis reform, and yet the federal government continues to tie the hands of its own experts, she said. The Evidence-Based Drug Policy Act is about bringing our laws into the 21st century, ensuring that the Office of National Drug Control Policy can do its job guided by facts and not outdated ideology. We need drug policy to follow the science and reflect the reality on the ground in states across the country. The legislation is also being backed by a wide range of advocacy organizations, including the Drug Policy Alliance, the DPA, Nevada Cannabis Association, National Cannabis Industry Association, NCIA, NORML, Marijuana Policy Project, MPP, Law Enforcement Action Partnership, LEAP, Parabola Center for Law and Policy, Doctors for Drug Policy Reform, D4DPR, the U.S. Cannabis Roundtable, USCC, Students for Sensible Drug Policy, SSDP, and Minority Cannabis Business Association, MCBA, all of who, actually most of these have been on a radio show actually in the past. Quote, the Drug Policy Alliance is proud to support the Evidence-Based Drug Policy Reform Act because it removes unnecessary barriers to ensure that the Office of National Drug Control Policy is empowered to develop drug policy based on evidence, not outdated political mandates. Kat Packer, Director of Drug Markets and Legal Regulation at DPA, said, quote, to advance policies that support public health, promote fairness, and meet the needs of the American people, ONDCP must be free to study the full range of public policy approaches, including the impacts of cannabis policy changes such as legalization and regulation, she said. Titus on Tuesday separately talked about another bill that she recently filed alongside fellow Cannabis Caucus co-chair Rep. Dave Joyce, titled The Strengthening the 10th Amendment Through Entrusting States 2.0 Act. Quote, this just says, let the federal government get out of the way, she said. The states are moving ahead. They're doing it through referenda, they're doing it through state legislatures. Why is the federal government dragging so far behind? The Congresswoman also noted that she sent a letter to congressional appropriation leaders recently that calls for language to be added to spending legislation that prevents the use of Department of Justice funds, the DOJ, to interfere in any state cannabis program. Quote, "We want to be sure that they can't undo things," she said. The progress towards this is stalled in the executive department. Despite what Trump said on the campaign trail, we don't see much of it moving. So it's going to be up to us to do it in Congress. That appeared to be a reference to the president's endorsement of marijuana rescheduling and industry banking access ahead of his November election win. In the months since, Trump has been notably silent on the issue, and the DEA rescheduling process remains stalled. Quote, "We must decriminalize cannabis nationwide," Omar said at the LPP event on Tuesday. "We must expunge federal cannabis convictions. We must also invest in communities that have endured the wars of these unjust policies for decades." Meanwhile, former Rep. Matt Gaetz, Trump's first pick for U.S. Attorney General before he withdrew from consideration, said on Monday that there's a winning coalition of libertarian-leaning Republicans and Democrats to federally legalize marijuana, but only if the Democrats drop their push for social equity and reparations. Since Gaetz withdrew, however, Trump picked former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi to run the DOJ, and the Senate confirmed that choice. During her confirmation hearings, Bondi declined to say how she planned to navigate key marijuana policy issues. And as state attorney general, she opposed efforts to legalize medical cannabis. Adding to the uncertainty around the fate of the rescheduling proposal, Trump's nominee to lead DEA, Terrence Cole, has previously voiced concern about the dangers of marijuana and linked its use to higher suicide risk among youth. Meanwhile, although shutting down licensed marijuana dispensaries doesn't rise to the top of his priorities, a U.S. attorney recently warned a Washington, D.C. cannabis shop about potential federal law violations says his, quote, "instinct is that it shouldn't be in the community," quote. Separately last week, an activist who received a pardon for a marijuana-related conviction during Trump's first term paid a visit to the White House discussing future clemency options with the recently appointed pardon czar. A marijuana industry-backed political action committee, PAC, also has released a series of ads over recent weeks that have attacked Biden's cannabis policy record, as well as the nation of Canada, promoting sometimes misleading claims about the last administration while making the case that Trump can deliver on reform. Its latest ad accused former President Biden and his Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, of waging a deep state war against medical cannabis patients, but without mentioning that the former president himself initiated the rescheduling process that marijuana companies want to see completed under Trump. Current acting administrator of DEA, Derek Maltz, separately made a series of sensational claims about marijuana, calling it a gateway drug that set children up to use other substances, suggesting marijuana use is linked to school shootings, and alleging that the Justice Department hijacked the cannabis rescheduling process from DEA. Earlier this month, DEA notified an agency judge that marijuana rescheduling process is still on hold, with no future action currently scheduled as the matter sits before us. Meanwhile, a recent poll found that a majority of Republicans back a variety of cannabis reform, and notably, they're even more supportive of allowing states to legalize marijuana without federal interference compared to the average voter. Boy, these ads are just bouncing and doing all sorts of things are really distracting. The survey showed that majority of overall voters, 70%, and GOP voters, 67%, back rescheduling cannabis. The survey was first noted by CNN in a report last month that quoted a White House spokesperson saying The administration currently has no action planned on marijuana reform proposals, including those like rescheduling and industry banking access that Trump endorsed on the campaign trail last year. Well, we know what happens when people endorse certain programs when they're on the campaign trail. Excuse me. They lie. Yep, that's true. They lie, and you don't really get support for anything. Neighbors are writing. The White House has also said that marijuana rescheduling is not a part of Trump's drug policy priorities for the first year of his second term, a disappointment for advocates and stakeholders who hope to see him take speedier action. Well, I doubt that he'll take any action at all. Meanwhile, former marijuana prisoners who received clemency from Trump during his first term staged an event outside the White House earlier this month, expressing gratitude for the relief they were given and calling on the new administration to grant the same kind of help to others who are still behind bars for cannabis. Well, there you have it. Marijuana Moment is made possible with support from readers. If you rely on our cannabis advocacy, you can pledge to support Marijuana Moments. I don't know that I've read from here before, but I kind of like it. It's a nice long news article on yet another situation where the government is not doing anything like they keep saying all the time. All right. Well, in our great state, like I said, we're having challenges right now with the Arizona Dispensary Association, who are trying to get hemp and CBD shops closed, or at least are trying to get rid of all the products that can supposedly make you high, the deltas and the things that are chemically derived from CBD, with all these higher milligrams of THC, which are still 0.3% or less. I don't understand. But they want us to stop selling these products so that they can make more money at the dispensaries. That is literally the reason. And I think they're aiming at most of the smoke shops and places like 7-Eleven, Circle K, Total Wine, and the bigger places that are selling the THC drinks and things like that. I mean, why do you guys have to have all the glory of selling a product that might actually make somebody happy or make them feel good? I mean, that's just lame. We have a 2018 Farm Bill that says we're allowed to sell all of these products that are 0.3% THC or less in a retail shop. And that's what we're doing. Are these people at Circle K or smoke shops or 7-Eleven or Total Wine educated? Probably not. I think they're just jumping on the money bandwagon, and that's the big problem that the dispensaries have, because they are literally losing money because these shops, including ours, The Good Leaf at thegoodleafshop.com, don't make you pay 25% sales tax for hemp and CBD products, and you shouldn't have to. If the government would get together and figure out their BS, we might have a regulated market somewhere, which we will at some point. It's still gonna be a long time, I think, before everything's really regulated. But the state should have the power under the 2018 Farm Bill to sell whatever the heck they want. I don't think it's anybody's business to say, nope, you can't sell that because we're not selling it, so you can't sell it. So it's asinine and it's crazy. And looks like we're at the end of our show. No. Humidors or pot. No news on that. I apologize. But I think you can still look online and find out where to buy those if you want one. But they were beautiful, so maybe we'll get those in the shop to sell. We are at the end of our show, so we are going to hit this one right here and say thank you so much for tuning in. We always love to have you here. Open hour, welcome back to the show. Tell your boss to calm down. And Silver Sister, we hope you feel better. Cannabis Kid, where are you? Oh, we got a thumbs up. Yay. I don't know that I've seen that before, but thanks for tuning in. Happy Weedsday Wednesday. We love you guys. We really appreciate the support. We love talking about weed. Please go do a bong hit for me. That would just be really lovely. Do 6. I really need them. And just be good out there. Be kind. Let everybody do what they need to do, especially if they're not bothering you. You know, don't be a naysayer on everything. Yes, thank you, Open Hour. Do those bong hits. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, be smart, be safe, and educate. Have a great week. We'll see you next time on Weedsday Wednesday. Woohoo! Happy Weedsday Wednesday, folks.
If you suffer from one of these medical conditions,